we were trying to name the number of challenges that the business leaders are facing right now, and it seems that when you look at the last few years, it seems that the revolution is ongoing and it is accelerating, and we are talking about the political transformation, security issues, digital transformation, business responsibility, new regulations that businesses have to meet. You are responsible for running organization on many markets and doing the business development in the highly regulated area that is being transformed very fast, both in a way it sells its products and the way it is growing. If there is 1, 2, 3 things that are a problem for you, that is, like making you wake up in the night and think about them as a huge issues, what would it be?
There is a long list, but I think as a leader today, there is one major tension, and I think it's here and anywhere else in the world, is the tension that how to develop a long-term vision in an environment that is more VUCA than ever, So I think that's the main thing we have to deal with on a daily basis, this tension. Then it brings a few challenges. So I think the first challenge linked to that is the sense of urgency for innovation, and goes with this the considering the status quo as an enemy, So everybody talks about it, but I think McKinsey this year, 2023, they said kind of keeping what you have and wait is the higher risk scenario, So we should be obsessed with challenging the status quo. Everything is challengeable. As a leader, we should challenge everything. The teams, the organization, the go-to-market. Then the third and big challenge that I feel leaders have is the humility. Because there is so many things that we don't master, that we don't control. And therefore, I see 2 important things for the humility is first, the partnerships, and I think we are really now in this world entering an era of more partnerships, intense partnerships. We need to develop partnerships 360, long-term partnerships with big partners, short-term partnerships. So,
but this would be the answer for the high volatility. Creating some kind of a safety network of the partners that are with you, no matter whether you are, like growing or declining, that this is,
yes,
it's more important than money.
Safety and complementary skills, because there's so much we learned, but we cannot master everything. And it's important that we can build really strong partnerships, I think it's very important. Same for the teams, I think we need to dare to build much more diverse teams, Everybody knows it. Diverse teams are more effective, more efficient. It needs to be diverse in everything.
But they are harder to manage. They are. When you have a diverse team and you give them more freedom, then it is very hard sometimes to execute and to.
I would disagree, Marek, because I think it's a mirage. It's an illusion to be surrounded with people who are like you. It's a short-term fix, but in the long run, it does not enable to have the ping pong for new ideas, etc. So for me, diverse teams are key for also the innovative spirit, to be. Of course, there is some complexity managing it, but it's really the key to innovation and different ideas, which I think we badly need as leaders, because otherwise, we are in the tourbillon of the.
But then at the end of the day, you have, if you build the organization where you have the innovative, diverse teams, and you are one is organizing the environment that would be growing and be ready to meet the volatile times. But at the end of the day, one has to make financial decisions as well. and how to make in such an environment rational financial decisions when the need for invest is high. The digital transformation, the new regulations, the ESG standards, they all require investments, especially from the big organizations. And somehow you need to assess the efficiency of those investments and how to assess investments and the business decisions in the environment that is so volatile.
So it's not an easy question, but for me it's still a question of mindset first. So if you are focused indeed on the speed, on the innovation, on generating new ideas that are the cake, because we always consider the innovation as the cherry, but it's really what matters for the sustainable growth. So if we have this mindset, then it's the leadership. So I think leadership is both daring, to go for growth, to go for ambition, for innovation, and is also caring, So we can also accompany the people in this journey, which is quite disruptive for everyone, And the third thing is, again, for me, is so essential more than ever. In my past few years in business, the partnerships. Choose your key partners, change them if you need to. So this cocktail makes you navigate and be able to take decisions. Then financial decisions, anyway, are part of the leadership.
You mentioned the McKinsey recommendations for the business leaders, and one thing that they are recommending, and you mentioned it as well, is focusing on your strong points. The company need to be strong where it see the growth in the business, but then the world can turn upside down, and what you named, what a leader, what a manager, what a CEO or CEO named as a future of the business is not existing anymore, or it's turned upside down. So maybe it's better to be everywhere.
For me, there is a few beacons, in the vision, which actually matching the evolution of the society in all our countries, So, for example, in the case of L'Oréal, we try to match our vision also with the society, the people, and the consumers. So, what we see, for example, is that consumers and people, they want tech. Okay? They want tech for convenience, for more personalization. So this is sure, this is not going away. Second thing, they want more sustainable, okay? More green, more long-term, something more responsible. So already with these two things, we can build a vision. So for example, at L'Oréal, we are really building on these two dimensions, So how to turn into not just a beauty company, but a tech company, and how to make sustainable business and responsible business. And technology has a role to play also to be responsible technology, even in sustainability. So I think, for example, in Poland is a great example, because we have a great ecosystem of both small companies, big companies, international, national champions. This morning Miron opened and L'Oréal invested in Miron startup in 2017. So it was so amazing to see how big it became. So there is a very favorable ecosystem to actually tackle these challenges in Poland. So how to foster this culture of innovation, how to skill our people, and I see in this room some partners, by the way, from the educative world. We have to skill also the teams, externally and internally, on innovation, on this change, and on how to become more tech and more sustainable.
We mentioned building the diverse teams, but the thing that a lot of managers, a lot of leaders are pointing out is the question of talent. Keeping the talents, attracting talents and keeping them in the organization. The new generation of people entering the professional careers have different expectations from the employer. How do you see this issue? And it is over here in Central Eastern Europe, it is especially demanding because the labor market is very demanding over here as well. So what's your take on this?
I think your point is so true, you know. And before Poland, I was based in Asia, you know. Labor market over there is also very, very tense. And the hunt for talents, especially in tech innovation, is crazy as well. So I think, for me, the first answer is you need to own this strength, you know. So if you decide to become a tech company, and for example, L'Oréal decided to become a tech company, you know. I mean, I'm amazed because tech is everywhere, you know, in the way we produce the products, the green chemistry, in the go-to-market, in the tools we develop for the consumers. By the way, here at the entrance of this forum, we have a few examples of beauty tech tools for the consumer, for personalization, etc. So basically, if you decide to build on the tech, for example, then you need to design your teams accordingly, to skill your team. So I think the skilling and the education is the number one way around. Because if you walk the talk and you really build skilled teams, then you attract more talent.
But then one of the problems with growing the team is that the race for talents sometimes means that people are, you know, changing jobs quite often. So the key competence of the company is to retain the team, and how to do it without, you know, like entering the pay race.
So then is the culture thing, you know. So I think what also more and more people want in corporate world is to have more autonomy, to be more empowered, you know. So I think PwC study also last year was mentioning that, you know, when people feel autonomous, then they are more effective, they contribute more, they're more loyal. So as a matter of fact, in the case of L'Oréal, I'm a long stander of L'Oréal, so this competency is at the heart of the culture. We always want people to manage their business like it were their own company. Our founder actually said that, you know. So I think autonomy is also one thing, because I think in this survey from PwC, it was saying people are ready to trade off 20% if they are more autonomous in what they do. Okay, it's a theory, but I think autonomy is a real thing. Then it's the leadership, you know. I think also what is so true today is that people, there is only one leadership forward, you know, is the sincere, true leadership, you know. So the leadership of the real life. So you need to be like you are in the real life, daring, caring, sharing. You need to reach some grade of transparency. People can understand many things if you tell them they can understand, you know. So for me, it's a question of skilling, acquire competency, develop the competency. The second thing is a question of autonomy, so redesign the ways of working. It's a constant process, but it's very true. And the third thing is the sincere leadership, you know.
And in the organization, when one gives a lot of freedom and autonomy to the team, how do you execute the strategy effectively? Because, you know, the team, the talent, the people is the one part of the deal, but the second is shareholders, and they want, at the end of the day, a share profit. So one has to deliver. So how to deliver and execute a strategy in the organization where people are given such autonomy?
It's freedom within the frame, you know. So at the end of the day, of course, we need to define clear KPIs, few. And for example, at L'Oréal, we have been reducing the number of KPIs quite drastically over the years, you know. So clear KPIs, but then honestly, freedom within the frame. And then you are accountable on a few KPIs. And we try not to multiply the unnecessary touch points. So it's a journey, to be honest, it's a journey. But I think the link between achievement of performance and autonomy is also that people can feel psychologically safe in the organization to have discussions, to disagree, and still to deliver their performance.
And with setting up the clear KPIs, the problem right now, and many organizations are pointing it out, that the financial results is something feasible that one can put on a paper and put on the calendar, but the changing regulation environment with the ESG standards getting in means that there are more and more things that are harder to quantify and put in the KPIs. How to manage the organization in which things are not in the environment when things are not so clear as the numbers?
To be honest, at least at L'Oréal, there is only one way, the sustainable way. You know, so at the end of the day, there is no contradiction anymore between the financial performance and the non-financial performance. I would even go further. I would say that the how you do the business is the condition of the what you do for the business. You know, so to be honest, it's just a matter again of KPI. So in our company, every person has KPIs on the sustainability, this kind of thing, you know, and it is part of the bonus of the people, you know, every employee of the company. So I think first you can set KPIs that are non-financial for the real work of the people, and it can be measurable. And second is that at the end of the day, also the loyalty of the people and their engagement in the company is also linked to those things. You know, is linked to the fact that they have the impression to believe to belong to a company that cares for how the business is being done. So, for me, not contradictory. Now it's pretty obvious. We don't question this anymore. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is the way. This is the only way, and this is what we have to do.
And the last thing, the international expansion. This is one of the key ambitions of many Polish homegrown companies, and it's a challenging thing, running the international organization. Many Polish managers are facing the tough reality of managing the multinational teams and being on very different markets. What's your take on how to manage the international expansion and how to stay on the different markets and, you know, like have the organization that benefits from being one and have the savings, yet being present in many places that create revenue?
So I will answer you through my own story. You know, I'm 25 years at L'Oréal, only 4 years in my home country. You know, so for example, my own experience has led me to many different places, from Latin America, Far East, Asia, Turkey, and what matters is the ability for people to be curious, to be open, and open to opportunities and see the opportunities. So for me, the first quality for any Polish business to expand is that the people who want to expand to other markets remain extremely open, you know, and don't try to reproduce the model of their home market, but really genuinely listen to the consumers, the clients. So for me, it has been the story of my own intercultural business journey. But I think this is the number one. There is no one size fits all. And the first quality is to listen to specificities, culture, and market opportunities.
So the client is always right.
Yes, absolutely.
Klient ma zawsze rację, as we say in Polish. Thank you very much. Valéry Gaucherand, prezes zarządu L'Oréal na Polskie i Kraje Bałtyckie. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Marek.